There's something about easy access that makes people forget where boundaries are. Give someone a shortcut for long enough, and sooner or later they stop seeing it as a privilege and start treating it like it's their right. That's exactly what happened here. And when that so-called right suddenly disappeared, let's just say Karen did not handle it well. I bought the land for one reason: peace. 60 acres of it. Open fields, scattered trees, a small pond sitting near the far end, and an old dirt road cutting across a property that hadn't been maintained in years. It wasn't luxurious, but it was quiet, and more importantly, it was mine. No HOA, no neighborhood committees, no one telling me what color my shed had to be or how high my grass was allowed to grow. Just land and freedom. The only problem? On one side of the property sat a perfectly organized suburban neighborhood, complete with an extremely active HOA. At the time, I didn't think much of it. That was my first mistake. The dirt road running through my land connected to main roads on both ends. It wasn't official, just an old access trail that had existed long before I bought the place. Apparently, though, the HOA residents had been using it for years as a shortcut. Instead of driving the longer route to reach the main road, they would cut straight through my property, save a few minutes, and continue on like nothing was wrong. When I first moved in, I noticed the traffic immediately. Cars driving through at all hours, dust clouds hanging behind them, tire tracks digging deeper into the already worn path. At first, I ignored it. I assumed it would slow down once people realized the land had a new owner. It didn't. If anything, it got worse. Morning commutes through my property, afternoon errands through my property, late-night drives still cutting straight through my land. It was like I didn't exist, like the property was public, and I was just in the way. The first time I tried to deal with it, I chose a polite approach. One morning, I stood near the road and waved down a driver. "Hey," I said, keeping my tone calm and friendly. "Just so you know, this is private property." The driver looked surprised. "Oh, we've always used this road." "I understand," I said, "but I just bought the land and I'm going to be limiting access." He nodded, apologized, and turned around. I thought maybe that would be enough. It wasn't. A few days later, I put up signs. Private property. No through traffic. Clear. Visible. Impossible to miss. People ignored them completely. Some drivers slowed down just long enough to read the sign, then kept going like it didn't apply to them. Others didn't even bother slowing down. That was when I realized this problem wasn't going to solve itself. And that was when Karen entered the picture. I met her on a Tuesday afternoon. I was standing near the entrance to the dirt road, marking where I planned to install a fence, when a car pulled up and stopped a little too close for comfort. The driver's door opened, and out stepped exactly the kind of person you'd expect to be running an HOA. Confident, irritated, already halfway into an argument before saying a word. "Excuse me," she said sharply. "What exactly do you think you're doing?" I looked up, planning a fence. "You can't block this road," she said immediately. I raised an eyebrow. "Sure I can. It's on my property." She crossed her arms. "This is a community access route." "No," I replied calmly. "It's a private dirt road that people have been using without permission." Her expression tightened. "We've been using it for years," she insisted. "And now you won't be," I said. That answer did not go over well. Over the next week, Karen made it her personal mission to stop me. She showed up multiple times, and every visit got more aggressive. First, it was concern. "You're going to create traffic problems," she said. Then it became advice. "You should really reconsider this. It benefits everyone." Then came the thinly disguised threats. "The HOA won't be happy about this." I never raised my voice. I never argued. I just repeated the same thing every single time. It's private property. Meanwhile, I kept moving forward. Surveyors came out to confirm the boundaries. Contractors marked the fence line. And finally, installation started. A solid perimeter fence along the property line. Nothing excessive, just enough to clearly define what belonged to me. And at the main entry point, a gate, a big one, steel frame, heavy-duty hinges, lockable, impossible to ignore. The day it went up was the day everything exploded. Karen showed up before the installation was even finished. "You need to stop this right now," she shouted as she got out her car. I didn't even look up from where I was standing with the contractor. "Nope. This road is essential," she snapped. "People rely on it." "Then they should have bought it," I said. Her face turned bright red. "You're being unreasonable." "No," I replied. "I'm being a property owner." By that evening, the gate was fully installed, closed, locked, and just like that, the shortcut was gone. The reaction was immediate. Cars pulled up, slowed down, and stopped. Some drivers got out and stared at the gate like it might magically disappear if they looked at it long enough. Others turned around in frustration. A few tried arguing through the fence, as if that would somehow change reality. It didn't. Karen, however, was not finished. The next day, she came back carrying paperwork. "I've contacted the HOA's legal team," she said, waving a folder. "You can't just shut down a road that's been used for this long." I leaned against the gate. "Show me the easement," I said. She hesitated. Then she flipped through the papers. Then flipped again. Nothing, because it didn't exist. That was a turning point. Up until then, she had been operating on assumption, on confidence, on the belief that long-term use somehow created ownership. But the law doesn't work like that. And deep down, she knew it. After that, the visits stopped, the arguments faded, and slowly, the neighborhood adjusted. They found other routes, longer ones, less convenient ones, but legal ones. The dirt road? It's quiet now. No more constant traffic. No more dust clouds. Just the occasional sound of wind moving through the trees. Exactly what I wanted when I bought the place. The gate is still there. Still locked most of the time. Not out of spite, but as a reminder. Because boundaries only matter when they're enforced. And sometimes the simplest way to teach that lesson is to close the shortcut.